Number 1. 2.3 million Americans in prison. 2.3 million Americans are currently held in the prison system. There are different types of correctional facilities. It includes 102 federal prisons, 1,719 state prisons, 3,163 local jails, 901 juvenile facilities, also known as juvie, and more military prisons and immigration detention centers. If we look at the international rates of incarceration, we can see that in the United States, 655 people out of 100,000 are incarcerated. It is the highest rate worldwide. Number 2. 22 to 25%. The total American population accounts for 5% of the world population, and yet 1 out of 4 prisoners in the world is held in an American prison. The American justice system is meant to imprison as many people as possible. Number 3. Recidivism rate. Only 23% of the inmates manage to stay out of prison. 77% of them will go back to prison within 5 years of their release. 43% will go back to prison in the same year as they're released. Number 4. 12 deaths a day. On average, 12 inmates die every day in prison. It's a total of 4,400 a year. In federal facilities, where people serve longer sentences, the main causes of death are health-related. Unfortunately, in local prison, suicide is one of the main causes of death. Most prisoners will take their own life even before being convicted. Number 5. Most frequent offenses. Almost half of the inmates were convicted on drug charges. Due to a series of laws, it is easy to be sentenced to life for drug possession. It is also important to note that 7.5% of detainees are held on immigration-related offenses. Only 3% are convicted murderers. This graph makes it clear that drug-related incarceration has skyrocketed since 1980. Number 6. Disparities in ethnicity and gender. The way citizens are treated when facing a prison sentence is revealing of a country's racist and sexist bias. In the US, in general, 1 man out of 9 is likely to go to prison at least once in his lifetime. The ratio is lower for white men, which means that they are less likely than average to go to prison. We can see a drastic increase for Latino men, who are 3 times as likely as white men to be imprisoned. It gets even worse in terms of disparities, since 1/3 of black men will likely be sentenced to prison at least once in their lifetime. On average, American women are less likely to go to prison. Only a small minority of them faces prison time. Nonetheless, we can notice an important change depending on skin color. Just like black men, black women are the ones who are the most likely to be imprisoned. Number 7. Disenfranchisement. Franchise is the right to vote, and disenfranchisement means to take away one's right to vote. Even though the right to vote is a constitutional right, since 1870, the 15th Amendment of the Constitution forbids to deny the right to vote on grounds of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. Unfortunately, many states ratified new constitutions and laws to restrict the franchise. Their purpose is to limit the right to vote of ethnic minorities, especially Black Americans. By doing so, they limit the impact Black people can have on decision-making. Nowadays, in 2016, 6.1 million Americans are unable to vote because 48 states have laws that forbids felons from voting. Number 8. The specific case of California. States are divided into counties, and the LA County, where Hollywood is the place where they have the most people in prison. What's more, 30% of them are sentenced to life, compared to 3% in the rest of the country, as we discussed earlier. Number 9. Louisiana. If you don't make it in Hollywood, you'll make it to prison in Louisiana. 1 adult out of 84 is in prison, and 1 in 14 is sentenced to life. One explanation may be that 53% of inmates are held in private for-profit facilities. More prisoners equals more money. Number 10. The cost of the prison system. On the subject of money, the prison system costs $80 billion a year. All of it is financed by taxpayers' money, which means that law-abiding, tax-paying Americans literally pay to keep the prison system running. And because the USA is the land of liberal economy, 8.5% of inmates are in private for-profit facilities.